I was talking with someone recently who said something and reminded me of you because I think you said it too a few times ago that we saw each other. And it was something to the effect of, it was about asking help, reaching out, asking for help, reaching out, something like that. And this guy was telling me a story about his grandmother who wanted him to visit. And then he said, I can't this weekend. And then, like, legit, she passed away that weekend.
Oh, man.
And ever since then, he's like, if someone asks for help, I'm doing it. Because you don't know if, like, maybe they don't have the weekend. And it really hit me. And then he said that he said when people ask for help, he said people don't ask for help because they enjoy it. And that really hit me, because how often do people ask for help and I sit there, like, how often, it's so easy to push people off and go, but when you really think about it, no one asks for help because they enjoy asking for help.
Well, they certainly don't enjoy needing it.
Or even asking for it.
Most of the time, yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of equivalent, or, whatever the nomenclature equivalent of hypochondriac is for someone who asks for help a lot.
That's true.
There's
yeah.
Yeah, sort of a compulsion of their own, bordering on a disorder or something debilitating. But by and large, for the vast majority of people don't want to ask for help around here.
Right.
That's not really the American way sometimes, is it?
It's not easy, I think, especially in this society, when I think it goes hand in hand. The more perfect you have to look to others, the more difficult it is to ask for help. Now, I don't know. I don't live 200 years ago. I don't know if it were any different.
I dare venture, but there's yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll bring it up.
Okay.
The topic of femininity and masculinity.
Let's go there.
We're going there. Let's go there right now.
Let's go there, like, deep.
If you're a guy growing up in the States, say, pick an age, an arbitrary age, but you're not yet an adult.
13.
Okay, great. So you're 13 years old, and you fall down, you trip or something stupid like that. You can get up. Do you want someone to help you up? Or do you immediately think to yourself, I better stand up? I was the kind of kid, personally, if I tripped, I hoped no one saw that.
Right.
And I'm going to stand up quickly, dust myself off, and pretend like it never happened, look around, be like, nothing to see here, folks. This would be my sort of mode of self-protection.
Right.
So what am I protecting when I do that? If someone's reaching up to give me a hand, I got it.
Mm.
Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that as a 13-year-old boy or a 10-year-old boy or even like an adult? Say, why am I doing that? Why don't I want someone to help me?
That's so interesting, because you haven't yet experienced the Instagrams of the world and the whole. Why do you do that? Where are you going with this? That it's because I like masculinity and femininity?
I think there's a lot. In the pot there, but let me take that out as one ingredient and say I don't want someone to see me weak.
Right. Where does that come from, though? Because you're 13.
Where does that come from? Yeah, I'm 13, but I'm older than 13. My genome is 100,000 years old and then some.
Right.
So I have some instincts, for lack of a better or more accurate description in this context. I don't want someone to see me weak.
And that's a human thing.
I think that might be a human thing, but I can't vouch for the female of the species. But I can tell you with great certainty among my cohort,
for the female of the species.
We find it as men who find ourselves, we really say that we're masculine. We would find it difficult, extra difficult, asking for help, but we're literally admitting that we need it. And that doesn't fit the paradigm.
It goes against everything that we think we need to be.
Sure, and certainly you look to the say other primates around, the ones we don't describe as human, and they typically or often cases have an alpha in the group. That alpha doesn't need help. The alpha gets everything and doesn't need something from you. In fact, you kind of serve the alpha. So if you're not the alpha, then that's a problem, potentially a problem for you. Now, I've seen some very interesting studies on what it means to be an alpha, and your stress levels are pretty high because you got to keep your spot, and that's not easy.
Right.
In fact, in various groups of antelope, particularly in the springbuck, one male basically breeds with all the females and doesn't eat at all because he's busy protecting his females. So now he's basically going to starve himself out of the gene pool if he's not careful, because this is his priority.
Dude.
Exactly. So he's busy being tough.
So he's mating with all the women.
He's mating and looking tough, but he forgot to eat.
Wow.
Right. So, and I'm not saying that we're all springbuck or antelope, but we do have lots in common with a lot of other creatures out there.
100%.
And one of those things we have in common is preservation of our image, and we don't want to be threatened. I don't know. It's a real shame that we don't have a female of the species here
with us to confirm this.
To confirm.
Man, I don't know. I forget her name. What was her name? Do you remember her name?
No, I have
Who
no
we
idea.
talked to?
I don't know any.
Man, she'd be a great addition. I'm sure she'd have what to say about this.
Man.
Therapist.
Oh yeah, we do. In fact, maybe we should knock on the door and ask her to join us.
Yeah, she's nice. She's good people. But no, I hear you. That is so interesting. You're right, because if I'm 10 and I fall down, I don't want people to see it. And it must be two options. Either my parents or the house I grew up in raised me to be that way. But even if that's not the case, you're right. My genes are older than me. And there's something about me being seen as weak or as needing help or as whatever, that as a human I struggle with the idea that others see that, and that's fascinating where that comes from.
I believe that we witness, even if it's not inherent to our nature. You'd be hard pressed to convince me it's not, but say that it weren't, then certainly we witness that people prey on the weak in the jungle of human activity.
Man,
we see it all the time, right? You don't want to be seen as weak,
right?
For wherever that comes from. I'm sure that's a human thing more than a masculine or feminine thing, in the way that I understand masculinity and femininity.